Hi, I'm Ellie, and in this video I'm going to inform you about hedgehogs, misconceptions about caring for one, and to make sure that one of these is right for your family before you buy it. First off, I have a hedgehog. Her name's Stella, and if you want to learn more about her, you can check out one of my other videos. Hedgehogs. They're an animal that gets impulse bought a lot by families, and it's just because like people will see them, they'll be like, oh my gosh, they're so cute, I want one, and you know, it's unique, and so people think that it's really cool to have, but you really need to do your research on any kind of pet before you buy one. So their quills are actually not that sharp. I would say they're kind of like toothpicks. Also, hedgehogs and porcupines, sometimes people get mixed up with them. Like people will see my hedgehog and they'll be like, oh my gosh, it's a porcupine. And I'm like, no, porcupines and hedgehogs actually aren't related whatsoever, and they don't even look the same. And so here are some pictures of a difference between a hedgehog and a porcupine, right here. So hedgehogs as pets actually need to live alone. If you want to, you need to make sure that you have separate cages for them, because the hedgehogs will actually fight and hurt each other if they are together, so you need to make sure that they are completely separated from each other. Domesticated hedgehogs can't go into hibernation like a wild one can, and their lifespans are also different. A hedgehog in captivity can actually live up to like 12 years, whereas a wild one is actually like 3 to 6. Hedgehogs are nocturnal animals, so they're awake at night. They run at least 13 miles in the wild, so you need to make sure that they have the proper accessories in their cage to take care of them and make them happy and healthy. They need to have a larger cage. As I said, they run 13 miles a day, so you need to make sure that you have a wheel in there. The wheel cannot have wire and like space gaps in between it, because if it does, then while the hedgehog's running, its foot can get caught and then it'll break. Also the cage, a lot of people use different things. You can use a fish tank, but I personally don't like that because the ventilation is really bad and they're really hard to clean out. It's a great display for your hedgehog, but it can also harm your hedgehog, because what hedgehogs will do is they'll actually run into the glass and then rub their face on it, and then they get blood all over, and that's just not good for anybody. My personal favorite cage is like a wired cage, because the ventilation's good, but you need to make sure that the plastic part on the bottom is at least 6 inches high, because the hedgehog will try to climb it and then fall and break something. Hedgehog bedding can be wood shavings, but if you're going to use wood shavings, do not use pine or cedar, because that can actually be really harmful to their lungs, and the aroma of them is bad for them. If you're going to use a wood shaving, make sure that you use aspen, just because they're rodents and they like to dig in their stuff, and the dust will get in their lungs, and that can be really harmful for them. So I personally do not like a wooden bedding. If you're going to use anything, there's like recycled paper that you can use. You can use shaved newspaper, you can just use plain newspaper. I personally use a poppy pad because my hedgehog doesn't try to like dig underneath it or anything. A lot of people actually use fleece for their cage bedding because you can get it in a different variety of colors, and so that can be really fun. Hedgehogs are actually generally super easy to feed. You can get them cat food, but you need to make sure that the cat food has a certain amount of protein in it in order for it to be good for them, and also fruits in it. That's beneficial too. Personal favorite is blue buffalo. It has blueberries in it and it's really high in protein, and the bits of it are really small. I really like that. I've had my hedgehog for 3 or 4 years and I've only had to buy 2 bags. So they don't eat a lot. They're pretty cheap to feed. Also, if you give a hedgehog new food or some kind of food that they really like, they will actually start foaming at their mouth. And this does not mean that they have rabies. This is not something that you should be worried about. It's completely normal. It's really unknown why they do this, but we just know that they do it whenever they eat new food or a food that they like. So hedgehogs require a lot of attention. You just need to make sure that you're really consistent with holding them so that they are a really nice pet to have. Another thing is hedgehogs, they do not have good sight whatsoever. They can hear really, really well, and they can smell really, really well, but they don't have good sight, and they also have really bad height perception. So do not get them a cage that has like different levels, because they will more than likely run off of it and fall. As I said, they have really good smell. Hedgehogs, if they smell food on your hands or they smell some kind of new soap or something, they'll more than likely try to lick you. And if they lick you, that means that they're more than likely going to bite you. Hedgehogs' teeth are really small and they usually do not draw blood. So if you see them licking you, the best way to get them to not bite you or anything is to blow air in their face, because you should not hit or flick or do any kind of harmful thing to your hedgehog to, quote, punish it. They also need their nails clipped periodically. If they get too long, they'll actually start like curling up into their feet. You also need to make sure that you have a vet that can take care of your hedgehog before you get one, because in the case of an emergency, you need to make sure that your vet can take care of it. As I say in all my videos, make sure that you never impulse buy a pet. Make sure that you do your research on that animal before you buy it. Make sure that you have a vet that can take care of your animal, because if an emergency happens, that is not fair to the animal. Make sure that you can actually own your pet that you want in your city or state or apartment building. Hedgehogs are actually illegal in certain parts of the United States, so make sure that you live in an area that you can own one before you buy one. And if you are looking to buy a hedgehog or anything, make sure that you use reliable websites for research and make sure that you find a reputable breeder. There are other videos on my other channels that you can check out if you want to see what kind of products I use for my hedgehog or my pig. And also there are other videos that you can watch that'll show you how to find a reputable breeder and reliable websites. So that's all. Thanks for watching.